up in this bitch. Shaun White, hella tight. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How's it hanging?
It's fucking awesome. It's really cool talking to you because I've never seen you do any snowboarding stuff, but I always see you.
Oh, right on.
You're like, it's crazy, dude.
Hopefully in a good way.
Nah, man, I'm like, I always like motherfuckers that win. You know what I mean? And I'm like, this dude is just crushing this shit. If a motherfucker that's never seen X Games knows who you are,
okay, cool.
I was like, I gotta holler at him. I gotta see the secret recipe.
Right on. Cheers. Thanks for having me.
It's good. It's good to be here. I was doing some research on you and stuff.
Yeah.
You're a musician too.
I am. Yeah, I love to play guitar.
Who are you listening to? Who do you like to listen to?
Man, I mean, on the rock side, I mean, when I first started to play, I mean, it's like every kid plays Metallica, and that kind of like was the thing that brought me into learning riffs and things. And so I got heavy into like Led Zeppelin and Iggy Pop, like these old school rock groups. But nowadays, it's a mixture of things. My favorite current artist is A$AP Rocky.
All right, so you moved over to rap a bit.
It's just I don't know. His was kind of in that in between. I felt like it was just something different. It's kind of like slower pace in a way. Some of the newer songs, like the LSD song or Jukebox Joints, those kind of songs that were, I don't know, it kind of had this like vibe to it that was cool. But
do you have him? Is he gonna be? Because you're here.
No, we have A$AP Ferg. Though.
You have A$AP Ferg.
Well, that's why this has a pretty heavy lineup.
We're talking to you because you got Aaron Style. That's this is your deal right here.
Yeah, exactly.
And Aaron Style is basically it's a festival that has art, fashion, like from the rooter to the tutor, really.
Yeah. Sports music festival, basically. And so on the sports side, we have like a 16-story big air jump. It's massive, and we make snow in LA, and we cover this ramp with it and have a competition.
How much does that fucking cost, dude?
It's quite a bit, but this thing's crazy because it's a tour. So we actually do it in Beijing, and then we make our way to Austria, and then this is the last stop in LA for all the riders. On the music side, it's curated every single time.
It's a different look.
There's like all sorts of like Austrian hip hop artists out in Innsbruck, and then like all these different places in China. There's like some kind of like K-pop groups, and then there's like the Justin Timberlake of China. Like,
Who's the Justin Timberlake?
I can't pronounce his name.
Was he a handsome devil?
He was.
God damn it.
Yeah, he had it going. But it was cool. It was one of those things where like each time it comes around, I get to curate the music, and a lot of the people are friends. I mean, like Big Grams, for example. We had Fantagram. Big Grams is a combination of the band Fantagram and Big Boy from Outkast.
Really?
Put an album together, yeah.
That's gangster, dude.
So Fantagram played our show festival last year, and then this time around I was like, oh, they could come back because they're doing the collab. This would be really cool. And that's like the perfect blend of their kind of like rock, electronic sound, and then hip hop.
You want to hear something interesting about Big Boy? He put me on to Kate Bush. Out of all motherfuckers, we're doing this interview with him. I'm like, yo, Big Boy, what were you listening to when you made Aquemini? He said, man, I was listening to Kate Bush.
No way.
That motherfucker is. It's cool to talk to people like that. Like for you, like what do you listen to? You spoke on the Stooges. I used to do like the Jenny Jones show. They made me make fun of strippers, and I listen to I Want to Be Your Dog before I go out there and eat them strippers up. Like what do you have like a go-to fucking? All right, man, I gotta be in the zone.
It depends. It keeps changing.
Really?
Because it's like you got a song and then you win the contest with that song, but as soon as you don't win, you got to switch it.
What are some of the songs?
The magic.
What are some of the songs that you won off of?
In the beginning, it was always rock songs.
Yeah.
So it was like, like Back in Black from AC/DC or something. And then just that thundering, guitar comes in, and I was like, I'm going to win this thing.
Fucking A.
And then like I would win, and then it became this like, they played it, I won. I was like, oh, they should probably play it again, and I won again. I'm like, now we got to have this song. And so, there was like a Communication Breakdown from Led Zeppelin. There was, a bunch of different songs. And so,
do you have any songs that you play when you win? Like, is there like any winning?
Afterward?
Yeah, like you're after, like you bask in the glory.
There was, what was it? Touch the Sky, the Kanye West song.
Yeah.
That was a good one for a while. It was just kind of Living Large song. But I don't know. I mean, that's what's funny is I kind of, I don't know, through many different things and trends, and man, it's like the world of hip hop and the rock it's so blended now. It's kind of like people in hip hop wear tight pants and skateboard and like you know
what was that like for you to see? Because I remember like dude, I can't even ollie, but I would hang out with motherfucking skateboarders because they did the wildest drugs, and they like anybody that falls down for a living, you know, like anybody that where they're failing a lot of times, they got a cool look on life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they were early
and they're
adapters.
Getting fulfillment from it, you know.
Yeah.
It's like you know, people don't get it, but it's like it's fulfilling, man. You tried this thing, you got the bruises, and you hurt yourself, but you got up and you actually made it. You accomplished that feat, you know, and so.
Does that make you more resilient in everything?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I'm just competitive all around, so it's just like. I don't know. I don't see the difference, but I think from a young age, like that was the scenario. So now even with business or other things, like I just go at it with the same mentality.
Did you attack the guitar the same way?
I did. Yeah. I got way into it. I made up this competition in my mind that like I was battling the neighborhood kid because there's another kid in my neighborhood.
Was he good at guitar?
He'd been playing for like 10 years. He was like a savant, and I was like, he's gotta go. Like he's going down, you know. And so, you know, I'd be on the airplane and I couldn't, you know, upstroke with the pick. I could only downstroke, and it was really cutting into my licks, my moves on the guitar. So I would sit on the plane and I would strum the pant seam on my jeans
to practice
on the plane, dude. I was like training.
You're thinking about some like 15-year-old kid like down the block. He doesn't even know that Shaun White told fucking every day. He's like, man, I'm gonna eat this motherfucking kid's lunch.
Just seeing him driving by, just eyeballing
this fucking kid. He thinks he's better than me.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I make up these things in my head, and it's great, man. It's nice to have that motivation and something to drive you to that place. I mean, I don't know. I don't like the pressure around the Olympics, but man, it's such a motivator. It's such an amazing thing to get me to go do something that I never would have thought I could.
How many golds you got?
Like that. I have 2. So
how much them shits weigh, dog? Like what's that?
They're pretty heavy, man. The craziest was going through like, you know, you go through TSA at the airport and they're just like, what the, you know, because it's suspicious looking in your bag, this big metal thing.
And then they're all probably taking pictures with your ass.
Oh, totally. And there I am at Heathrow, like doing that.
Fucking A, dude.
So
was it the Olympics? That's the pinnacle right there. That's the top.
Pretty much for the sport. You know, it's different in every sport. You know, like basketball and tennis and other things. I mean, kind of winning their tour is more of a highlight than winning the Olympics. I mean, I know that's a big, you know, thing to put on their stats or whatever for their career. But yeah, for us, you know, snowboarding, like Olympics is the biggest. So
that's the one.
When it rolls around, everybody's gunning for it.
Shaun White, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Why I feel like why they always shitting on skiers, man? Like how come y'all like I can't like I'm
What's the beef?
I'm an idiot. I don't know, like as an outsider, just explain to me why skiers are corny and you guys are not corny.
Okay, so how it went down is that like, you know, skiing was the rich man's leisure sport. You know, it was like, oh, we're gonna go to Aspen and put on ascots and go, you know, ski and have tea and do these things. And so anyways, what happened was, you know, snowboarding was inspired by surfing and skateboarding. And that, like, you know, is that mentality. Shit. Like, it doesn't take much money to get a skateboard and just hit the street or get a surfboard and, like, hit your local break. So it was like those people now at these bougie resorts, and these people were like, get out of here. They must have guns. Like, you know, it was very
they want to know
unwelcoming scenario. And so, you know, all this kind of craziness went down, and then they realized that's what the youth wanted to do, and then they accepted us on the mountains. There's mountains that you couldn't even go snowboard on, and so now the tables have turned. It's been very accepted, and so skiing went, and now they modeled skis after snowboards, so you could go both directions.
Really?
Yeah. So they took the designs from snowboarding and made them into smaller versions for skis, and so now skiing's cool again.
Is it cool again, or is it like
now,
if I roll up?
Like,
will I look like a rollerblader if I show up with some skis on?
You just gotta wear the right stuff. But that's what I mean. It's like my friends ski and snowboard, so it's kind of like not that big of a deal. But then the only other thing that happened is when snowboarding was accepted into the Olympics.
Yeah.
There's the thing called the FIS. It's the Federation International Ski. It's very European. And so what happened is, you know, it's a political thing where they went, oh, we'll just take that. So it should have been the Federation International Snowboarding, like a governing body for the sport of snowboarding, but it's not. It's under skiing. So it's
Are
like,
you guys like the stepchild?
they're no, it's just kind of like they just like, they were the ones saying like, we don't want them on the mountain, we don't want them anywhere. Now all of a sudden, like, we get in the Olympics and like, we'll take it.
Yo, it's the same.
And so they get money from the International
Get
Olympic
outta here.
Committee now, and so there's all this beef, and that's the more modern beef.
But
I
you
would
guys
say.
are, yeah.
But my friends, man, I don't.
You guys are
care.
getting
Yeah,
way more
we
money than
hang.
any fucking skier. You know what I mean? They
There's
might
some
go fuck some
breakout
Swedish
guys.
broads, but like that's it.
Yeah, the ones that make the most, I think, in skiing, like, do the downhill.
Do the
Because
slalom
in
shit.
Austria and these places, it's just like that's what's up.
Have you ever tried that downhill shit, like slaloming? Because you came up skiing, right? You
Yeah,
started skiing
yeah.
as a child.
At 4, I was skiing, and then like around 5 or 6, I started snowboarding.
You from San Diego? How the
I
fuck you do
know.
all this, man?
Man, I hate the cold. It's so funny. I'd go up to Bear Mountain, Snow Summit.
What do you?
So I got my startup at the local resorts here. And
How cold is it when you in the snow? Isn't it cold?
it is, yeah.
And you don't like that shit?
No.
And you're a champion?
Yeah.
You're fucking
We make
weird.
really great jackets, though. So I'm up there like, all right, we're doing this, and it's like my motivation to get down the thing. But it's funny for me, like, I don't know. I fell in love with the sport, and where I ride, I mean, it's this type of weather. It's sunny. It's nice
It's
out.
just
and-
beautiful.
yeah, it's beautiful. And it's crazy because the guy that used to build the terrain parks, all the jumps and things that we hit,
Yeah.
he got his start at Snow Summit Mountain up
Where you-
nearby, where I got my start. And what's crazy is he's now the like premier builder. He builds all the parks everywhere, all over the world. And so it just so happened that, like,
How cool is
no
that?
big resort was going to give him the keys to go, build what he wanted in somewhere like Aspen or something like that. But like this little mountain gave him a chance, and it just so happened that I was there. So it's like a lot of these kind of really amazing things happening to come together at the same time to, like, I think lead me to this place where I'm at now, But
Which is awesome. Are you gotta have ESPN's gotta have beef with you, right? Like this is kind of competing against their X Games.
for Aaron Style,
Yeah.
in a way.
Has there been a rift?
It's just so different because it's like it's a sports and music festival.
I
mean, like,
agree with
we got
you.
J. Cole coming. We got all these
I'm
amazing
not
amazing
disagreeing
artists.
with you, but
No, totally.
you
So
know.
so there has been a little bit of beef. I mean, I was on a Forbes interview recently. I was on the cover. That's actually how I got into ASAP's music. He was on the cover with me.
Get the fuck out of here.
And so I was like, "What's up, man?" And I knew a little bit of his work, but I didn't know all of it. And then right after, I started listening to it a ton, and I really dig it. And so, anyways, at that interview, I mentioned, like, X Games had tried to span globally and do these things. It wasn't very successful. And at the same year that they decided not to span globally, and they wanted to do that with me. We had talks about how we were going to do it together and all these things, and it didn't really go anywhere. And so I had all these amazing ideas, which would, later become Aaron's
Your
style.
ideas,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And so once I saw that their idea failed, I immediately purchased this event where I was a competitor as a kid. I was a host of the event, and now I bought the event from the originator, and now we have Aaron Style. But yeah, I kind of pointed out some of the mistakes that were made, or my constructive criticism, and they were kind of not too happy about that. So I was uninvited to this year's X Games.
Really?
Yeah. Which is kind of weird.
That's weird.
It's weird in a way, because I get it, and like, man, it was meant as, like, hey, like, I don't know. As an event owner, if I heard somebody talking about my event in a certain way, I'd be like, wow, like, I get it. Like, maybe I should take these things into account. In a way, it's like, like people talk about the Olympics all the time, like horror stories about this and that, and then you don't see them uninviting writers, but
It seems kind of emotional, like
in a way. I think
it's one of those deals too, where it's like you guys each help build each other. You know what I mean?
for sure,
Like,
yeah.
is it gonna be?
So that's where I'm kind of like in the middle, where I go like, wow, yeah, like I get it, like, and so that's why, like, it was like from the bottom of my heart, I'm telling you these truths about the event, and this is all public information. It's not
You
like
got
I
too
told
big
some
for 'em.
big secret or whatever. But so yeah, I don't know. I think they're supposed to call us later today and I don't know, finally reach out. But
I bet you. How bad do you think it's gonna hit their ratings if you're not there?
I don't know, because a couple things happen. One, I feel like it discredits the riders that are there.
Yeah.
Because if you were a competitor,
I wanna
and you're
beat
like,
the best-
I want to
yeah.
beat Shaun because he's the best guy,
This
or
is like when-
considered the best guy.
It's like when Ali's in fucking prison and
Yeah.
and Frazier wins the belt. Like